What's going on, everyone? It is another episode of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. It's your boy, Jevin LaFave. And on this episode, I brought back my good friend, Tim Asfar from the BCIT Radio Arts and Entertainment program, the program that I am a part of at BCIT. And this was an all NHL episode. So I guess not all NHL, because we talked talked about Canada clinching the World Cup. How fire is that, hey? So we talked about Canada clinching. We talked about the unfortunate passing of Eugene Melnick, and then all news around the NHL. And then we do a nice little fun segment at the end. We do a logo draft. So we each draft a logo, part of the NHL, the primary logos, and we kind of do a little 5-team each, and we just kind of get to see what orders we like best at our desired pick. So it was a very fun episode with Tim. We go in depth a lot about the Canucks and kind of what their future holds, how Petey's been playing well so far. We've also talked about how Edmonton is like what are they doing? They're kind of in shambles. We talk about Vegas and about how much cap trouble there. And so it was a very fun episode. I really hope you guys enjoy it. We have intro music now. Uh, Royal Oak came on KBNR and then was kind enough to let me use a couple of the songs for intro outro music. So I really hope you guys enjoy the new intro and outro music. I'm really happy with them. And be sure to leave a rating and review on everywhere you get your podcast, Left Side Heavy. Rate and review, it really goes a long way to help grow the show. And yeah, that's about everything. Enjoy the episode. Here's Tim. It's episode 91 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jevin LaFave, and I have the pleasure of welcoming back Tim Asfar. How's it going, buddy? How we doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Feels good to be back on the show again. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm just hoping that we don't have another run-in with noise in this control room here at BCIT. Last time when Scott was on, it was... Dude, it was so
this
annoying.
room's notorious for it, so hopefully it's been good so far. So hopefully that keeps up.
Yeah, exactly. But how have you been handling school lately? I've been asking Tim that, Scott that. I've been asking a few guys from BCIT about that. But how's school treating you?
It's been good. I mean, it gives me opportunities to do things like this, which obviously been really enjoying. Things have kind of slowed down on like the volunteering front now that sports are kind of winding down. So
Yeah.
it's good to be able to do more like the educational stuff and get ready to go back to like doing hands-on type stuff. So yeah, it's good. Just kind of everything's winding up now. So looking forward to starting practicum. That's for sure.
Yeah. What part of practicum are you looking forward to most?
I mean, I definitely am someone who has had troubles with like talking to people on like a bigger stage and stuff like that. Even just like getting in my own mind. So, I mean, I'm already a lot more comfortable with it as this podcast and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's definitely something I'm looking forward to just getting more comfortable with, pretty much, I'd say, because I generally am like a very like talkative person and everything, but in those moments when you kind of like get in your own head, it can be tough. So it'll be good to like get over that fear and just like hit it head on.
What going into this program, did you have a goal, like what direction you wanted to go in?
Yeah, I mean, coming into it, I kind of was just like, oh, I want to be like sports media, but.
Yeah.
I definitely have just kind of like opened up my mind to the different avenues and like possibilities and kind of just seeing where I want to go with it. That's kind of like that's kind of happened with the ongoingness of this program, is just like seeing how many different options there are and like the different things that we're learning. Like,
Yeah.
we're doing so much that I just like didn't, I'm sure you too, like have any idea how we'd be like delving into with like filming and everything like that.
No,
and
100%.
like using like proper video cameras. So it's really cool, like finding out so many, or I guess learning so many different skills that you can use in like different scenarios, right? So
Yeah, because I was going into this program just like thinking about on air stuff,
Yeah.
but like the producing aspect of it
Yeah.
seems like a lot of fun, like
Yeah.
something like I'd really enjoy.
Yeah,
So
I had no idea I was gonna do that. Like I said, right, like editing and everything. It is interesting. Didn't think we would be like doing anything like that. I thought same thing, like just talking on a radio show.
yeah,
Teach you how to talk, you know, to your I guess optimal abilities and everything like that. But like, there's so much different stuff that goes into it that we're learning. So
yeah,
it's cool.
because you see like you say like sports media, that's just such like a big umbrella that so many things are under, and like there's jobs out there that you like don't even realize are actual jobs. Like everyone thinks about like Sportsnet intermissions with like Dan Murphy and like Satyar Shah,
Yeah.
but they just see those two guys. But then there's probably like four other people there working the camera, the reflectors, the light,
Yeah.
any boom mics, whatever it may be. Like
Yeah.
those are all jobs within itself, and like that's kind of stuff that we're learning with like video editing and like
Yeah, what goes into making it
yeah,
all, right? Because
exactly.
you don't really think about it. You just think it's like, oh, some guy like standing behind a camera filming a couple of guys, but it's just like there's so much more things that go into
I
it,
know.
and like doing stuff before going on air and everything like that. That like I feel like a lot of people don't realize, because it's at the end of the day you are kind of like improvising and talking on the spot, but it's not. You can't just come in and be like, oh, I'm just gonna improvise the entire thing, because nobody can really do that in like this kind of like setting, right? So it is really cool for sure.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make sure the camera's recording.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not even gonna cut this out. I just gotta make sure. Okay, yeah.
All good.
It was just this one
No,
thing
yeah.
that I'm like, is
Yeah.
it happening?
Yeah,
Like,
don't worry. Yeah.
I'm keeping that in. I don't give a fuck. But, is there like a person within sports media that you kind of wanna, like, not even like get to that level, but kind of like do what they do? Like, is there someone?
There it is.
There it is. There's a nice. But is there someone in like sports media that you're like, yeah, I want to do like kind of what they do?
Yeah, I definitely like someone I listen to a lot of his stuff, and I really enjoy like his opinions, and like I think I see eye to eye similarly as like Thomas Drouin, for example, and I like how he's a really smart guy, and he's like branched himself out into like so many different avenues, and like
Yeah.
he's such a hard worker, and like he shows that like I mean the guy was like an English like major or something like that, and like it shows like with hard work and like dedication, like understanding like what you're doing, like you can do great things like him, like radio, writing, TV, everything like that, right? So that's definitely someone I would say I look up to essentially, and like he was definitely when I was kind of debating on getting into this program, it was like I thought about someone like that, and it's interesting hearing like and understanding now, like listening to it with a different ear. Before it was like you kind of just listen to listen, and now it's like you genuinely like listen and like appreciate everything that goes into it.
Yeah.
So it's cool, and so I think he's a great like unreal for this market. Thomas Drouin, he's such a good analyst and everything.
Because what I like about Thomas Drouin is like he gets a lot of shit from Vancouver media because he's like almost put this label on himself that he's a hater, and like he's always extracting the negatives from every situation. But what I like about him is that he's a realist. He doesn't try to fabricate situations and like look on the surface. He's like, okay, yeah, we're on a 3-game winning streak, but we've beat the bottom 7 teams in the league.
Yeah. And our process and everything isn't actually good. So it's not just like, he doesn't just give some face value opinion. He's giving like genuine insight and like does the research and has the facts to back it up, which is not a lot of people are like that, right? It's a lot of people kind of they just say what they feel, and it's like super reactionary when there's like a lot more that goes into like even like a 3-game winning streak against, because it's not just like a 3-game winning streak. It's like there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, because so when you say like you want to do some or like kind of want to portray Thomas Drouin, seeing him like on Twitter, you can kind of see like how does he react to the criticism he gets, and like he's pretty like vocal, like whether it's like when he was on Vancast with J-Pat. Or when he does spots on like Rink Wide or Sakaris and Price, or when he's like in between intermissions at Canucks games, like, or just like tweeting, and you can kind of see like how he handles it. So you not just what he does in the media, but like, because everyone's gonna get
Yeah, they're all gonna
like
get it from all sides,
lashback.
right?
Yeah, like anyone who
yeah,
does media, there's always gonna be
yeah.
people who like don't
Give
agree
flack,
with you,
yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
So it's a matter of handling that.
Yeah, he does a
right?
really good job, I
And
think. Yeah, like honestly, he is. Don't get me wrong, I can't say I agree with every single one of his takes, especially
Yeah.
outside of hockey, but it's like I do respect that he can like, get into a debate with someone, and as long as they're being a respectful person, like I read those like conversations, and he's willing to like give, like people a voice and like hear people out, which is like not a lot of people are like that. They're kind of just like will say what they think. That's it. They don't listen to like other people, and like he even like Drance, he's like from the beginning of the year, he said like Canucks weren't going to be a playoff team, all this stuff, and like he said recently, he's like I'm not betting against him anymore. I'm not gonna like say this is what they are, because they've like shown. So he's willing to change his opinion on based on stuff like stuff that's changed, right? And like that's a smart person. Like you can't just like hold an opinion and even with new knowledge continue holding that exact same opinion, right?
Being stubborn in sports media can like really go against you, and you got to be able to like eat your words. And because he's said like you said, I'm not going to be betting against the Canucks, but he also points out stuff that the organization has to be careful about, like in terms of like re-signing JT Miller. It's like if you re-sign him, you got to be careful of like Petey's only on a bridge, like Demko's contract is going to be like coming up like within a few years. There's going to be stacking contracts.
OEL's contract.
Exactly.
Right?
So he says, he's like, if he fits the mold for what you want to do, then like sure. But like you got to be careful. Like, is re-signing him really the play?
Yeah. Is that how you become a contender, right?
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like that's what it takes to be like a good person. Like sports media is like seeing the future and seeing past just the little things, right? Because people like they get so caught up in. I mean, it's obviously not easy to say like, just generalize people, but a lot of like people who watch sports do get caught up in the minutia and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, the minutia is huge, and it does play a role in a lot of things. You can't just like brush over everything. But it's not the end all be all every single day. You have to look into the future, think about 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, because it's gonna happen. Like it's not like that day is not that far off. We may think every time you think like 2 years, 3 years is so far away, but it's like how quickly does 2 years or 3 years like flash by, right? So it's definitely it's interesting, and I really love how he like says it how it is, and like holds the organization accountable, because I feel like a lot of people can just carry weight for like teams and everything like that. It's not just a Vancouver media thing. That's like a media everywhere. They can just carry weight and not be critical and harsh because they don't want to like upset people that are like their sources and stuff like that. Where it's like Drance is like he's gonna tell it how it is. Like he's taken the like role of almost like Botchford, right? He's like he's smart. Like it shows how smart he is. He's recognized that like there was that like missing voice in the market, that like fiery guy that's gonna say what he wants and like like be out there, not afraid to get it, because Botch was the same, wasn't afraid to get it and give it right back to anyone else, right? So I really, that's what I respect about him too, is just like that he's like been so self-aware in this market and like understood it, because he understands the market, and like he's gone, like I remember earlier in the season, like he was I saw like a noticeable difference in like how he was reporting. I think he like said it on like a Vancast or something. He's like, people were like revolting. They were just like, they couldn't handle what he was saying. And it's like, I couldn't imagine being him. He has stuff like valuable info that like a lot of people like me and like a lot of people who understand, realism want to read, but like he feels like he can't even publish it because he just gets attacked for it. And it's like, why? Because it's not what you want to hear. Because he's not pandering to you, being like, oh, sign JT Miller to a 10x8, right? Like it's tough. It's a fine line that like these journalists and radio people walk, that like people don't realize it or they don't care, It's not that easy.
Because you don't want to turn your own market against you, but you want to be able to like have respect within the media, and because you don't want to be like a yes man and just like constantly agree with every move like your hometown makes, because then it's like you're just gonna look like a homer, and you're gonna look like unrealistic, and you're just not going to look smart because there's some moves that are so clear and like such a clear and utter disaster.
Yeah, no matter
And
how
like,
you spin it.
yeah, and if you're constantly agreeing with it,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, like you're going to lose respect
Yeah, they won't take
from
your
people,
opinion.
and no one's going to
Yeah.
like click on your articles, no
Yeah.
one's going to listen to you,
Mhm.
no one's going to want to have you on because you're not going to bring in ratings. So someone like Drance, who constantly gives you sound bites, he gives you what like your show needs is like clickbait and just like debate worthy topics, and like he's always going to play one side. So that's why like I respect Drance's voice in a lot of different aspects.
And he doesn't just like flip flop his things. Like
Yeah.
it takes a while, and like what was it, like facts and like numbers to like show, and like people have trouble with analytics. They're like, oh, like how is like they're obviously like you can't like analytically show everything in hockey, where it's like, well, that's true, but the point is they're tools to help you better assess, right? It's just like you're gonna be a carpenter and not bring a hammer. It's like, well, you could probably do it with something else, right? It's like you can see how good a guy is defensively, not by looking at his analytics, by getting a scout to watch him and look at his defense every single game for 10 games. Or you can just use analytics and get a better idea and look at him for a couple games, right?
Yeah.
So people, they're just like so all or nothing, when it's like, no, you can just use certain things as tools to help form your opinion, which is like why I like Drance. He uses everything and uses different things to come up with his opinion. He doesn't just like see it and like, say it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I really like about him and really respect.
Well, that's fire.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into some news around the league? There's a few things. I made up this itinerary for this episode, but then there's a few things that kind of happen, not just in the sports world. Some pop culture things happen,
There we go.
as we all know. But to lead off this episode, I do want to pay my respects to Sens owner Eugene Melnick, who sadly passed away yesterday or Monday night. The age is 62. It was an undisclosed illness, or like it was an illness that was public.
He'd been fighting for a bit.
Yeah, but the exact illness wasn't publified.
Yeah.
And he purchased the Sens back in 2003 for $92 million, I believe.
That's crazy.
Yeah. For an NHL franchise, or like any professional franchise, it's crazy.
Franchise, yeah.
So, he basically saved the organization. I don't necessarily agree with all of the decisions he's made, because there's been definitely some questionable ones, just on like where to build the rink in Ottawa, because it's like
outside, like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's like equivalent. Yeah, it's like 45 minutes away from everyone.
Being in Burnaby or something like that for Vancouver. I mean, he's obviously like been a very polarizing owner. Probably like the most polarizing in the NHL, right? He's like the Jerry Jones of like the not actually like wealthy owner, or not wealthy, but not of like a huge team. But man, like, in terms like since 2003, the guys like took them to a Stanley Cup final,
Eastern Conference final,
Game 7 of it, right? Like all in all, in that kind of time frame, like it's not that bad. Like
no.
More success than Toronto's had since he bought the team, right? So it's like, like he's been a polarizing guy and been in the media for definitely a lot of wrong things in terms of what he said and stuff like that. But I mean, you got to give him respect. He did like save hockey in Ottawa, and like even though he was threatening to take it out a bunch, he still put up the money, and he continued to put up the money. He's probably wasn't the most conventional owner in pro sports, but like I definitely like rest in peace. I feel bad, it's always bad whenever like anyone like that passes away, especially so young, 62. It's sad.
And recently named captain Brady Tkachuk, he has some nice words to say about him. This is quoting from his Twitter. Mr. Melnyk provided me, my teammates, and many Sens players who came before us with an opportunity to live out our dream. The Ottawa community will miss you greatly. Condolences to your family. So he was obviously, you can be players get drafted every year, so it's like every player's that gets drafted is like has a chance to live out their dream. But like there's many times when you hear of owners or GMs who like don't even talk to their players. Like there's like who sign like there's a story of like Sean Mathias in Vancouver. Like Jim Benning like never talked to him once.
Yeah, didn't have any idea
Like
if they were going to re-sign.
yeah,
re-sign
like
or
didn't
nothing, get a
communicate or
contract,
anything.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like Eugene Melnick was the type of owner who connected with this team.
Yeah.
And I think as much as the tough choices he made and like some players or fans and hockey insiders or whatever, like obviously they're not going to agree with every decision someone makes, but it just seems like this guy really connected with the people around him. So it's very unfortunate that he was gone, because 62 when you think about it is not that's not that old.
Yeah,
like
that's way
my
too
dad
young.
my dad's 3 years younger than
Yeah,
him,
I
and
know.
it's like just thinking about that, it's like
You see people every day that are in their 60s and they are healthy, right?
Yeah.
So it's
So-
it's really sad.
very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Condolences to the Melnyk family and the Ottawa family and all, but yeah, very unfortunate. And yeah, I mean, I look at Ottawa like as an exciting young team, so I hope that they
Get in
keep
good
that
hands,
keep
right?
that
Yeah.
success coming
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
for Melnyk.
Yeah,
But
you would think they possibly will sell it, but who knows at this point, really, right? So
yeah, it's
it's tough.
hard to tell right now, but I think that's obviously not the last thing that they're thinking of,
Mhm.
but a decision will come about it. Maybe the league will own it for a little bit while they
figure it all out and
Yeah,
everything like that.
it's-
because he was an involved owner, right? So
yeah,
it's not easy just
just like passing on the
sports
workload to
pro
someone.
sports franchise. Yeah, it's not the easiest
Yeah,
thing.
because like the league owned Arizona like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but like that's just because Arizona was like a fraud city who like literally
Yeah, there's like nothing.
yeah,
there,
it was
no-
just so
no-
bad. But this
nothing.
was just a horrific incident that happened
Yeah, for
out of the blue so abruptly. But yeah, condolences all in all. But some hockey news. Actually, not hockey news yet. Team Canada
Oh, okay.
qualified for the World
yeah.
Cup, and this is in the soccer podcast. I've done one soccer episode with a couple of my buddies for the Euro recap, but this is just like I couldn't leave this out. Team Canada qualifies for the World Cup for the first time in 36 years, since 1986, and I just like we're not hosting it. Like we didn't get an automatic bid.
Yeah.
Like.
The fact that we earned our way
Like
in.
we legit qualified.
Pretty much one CONCACAF. Yeah, it's crazy. Back in the day, I remember not even that long, like 10 years ago, we lost like 7-1, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy how quickly it's like completely changed. I mean, one thing is, I feel like they don't give the women's team enough credit. You know, they're always like, oh, it's been so long, but it's like we do have success with the women's team, and we should be thankful, you know, that we are like such a powerhouse with it, and I really don't feel like they get enough credit. Like I feel like it just gets brushed over, and you know the men's team, even though they're far inferior, have been getting all the spotlight, you know. But obviously amazing, like ridiculous thing, like the fact that they even did it without Davies and they're still like keeping up is crazy. Like, you know, like as of a year ago, you told them that Davies is not there, they're probably thinking we're going to be bottom of CONCACAF, right?
Yeah, it can be a wash.
And they're out here winning 3-0 without Davies. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, the one thing, their team's so fun to watch. Their counter-attacking style is just like so exciting. Sweatpants Borjan and net. Like, the team's just electric. Like, honestly, for someone, like, I'm not even a big soccer fan. I played a couple years growing up, and, you know, I'd watch, like, a few games out of, like, the Euro Cup and the World Cup, excuse me. But, like, man, I've been watching every single game of CONCACAF, and I would never imagine that I would care enough to like, watch a game against Panama or, like, Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would never, growing up, never would have thought that. So it's amazing. It's great, you know. It shows, like, what kind of, like, having success can do to a country and, like, unite it in that way, you know? Because it's crazy how many different fans, and I feel like it's bringing in a lot of different people that they just don't really respect soccer that much, and, you know, at least seeing Team Canada gives them, like, a reason to, like, open their eyes and, like, see it for more than, like, just a bunch of guys getting hurt sometimes, you know? Because I feel like a lot of, like, hockey fans especially are just like, oh, they just whine, so it's like, I'm not going to watch it. But it's like, still more skill in the game. There's not just guys flopping, right?
No, 100%. And
Yeah.
I want to bring back a few points because you said a lot of good stuff there. The women's team. I just feel like we've almost taken for granted of how how consistent they have been. That like we almost hold them to a standard now of making it like at least deep into the World Cup or like at least qualifying for the World Cup.
Like expecting a medal almost.
No, yeah, it's almost become like our hockey team, right? So I think that's why the men's team has gotten a bit more notice is because we've been notorious for just being bad.
Yeah.
Like the Canada soccer team has just been notorious for being like, yo, we're gonna lose. Like we're barely drawing against like
Jamaica and everything like that. Yeah,
like we just weren't doing good.
Yeah.
But now now I'm gonna move on to the point like performing without Davies, like, because last time we were in the World Cup, my dad was saying like they were like plus 12,000 to like not win a game, to like score a goal in the World Cup, and they didn't even score a goal.
Yeah, not one. Yeah.
So like to think about it back then, to like how far we've come now, where it's like Kyle Larin, Jonathan David, Buchanan, like we got
legit
some
game breakers.
Yeah, we got like legit dogs on our team now, and this doesn't seem like a team where we're gonna qualify and then just be an easy wash. Like obviously, if we like get the group of death, and like that's not gonna help us out at all.
It seems like we're getting a good group right now.
Yeah. So like we seem like a team that we can at least, if we're not like, maybe we don't score a goal, maybe that happens, but like I think that this can be a team where like we lose 1-0 or lose 2-0. We're not getting blown out 6-0.
Yeah, and that's an accomplishment, right?
And like I just think that this is a team where we can keep games close. And obviously you can only do that for a certain amount of time against teams like France, Belgium, England.
Yeah.
I would say Italy, but they're not going to be there.
Yeah, they're not even there this year.
Talk about disaster.
Yeah.
But like imagine like watching Canada and say they draw like against like Portugal and Portugal makes it, for example, and like Canada versus like Cristiano Ronaldo. Like when would you ever think Canada would be like
playing against Ronaldo? Yeah.
When would you ever think about that?
Never,
if Ronaldo scored a hat trick against us, I'd almost be on it.
Right? At least it was against us. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
It's like just like I think that's just something like we're like not like thinking about. It's like we're gonna be able to like watch our team in the World Cup in a tournament like we're not hosting, which is like even more crazy. It's like, oh, you guys are only in because you're hosting. Yeah, but no, bitch. Like we qualified for this shit.
Yeah,
like we earned this spot. And so like we're gonna be watching our team play against like the best teams in the world in like a tournament that like we earned our spot in. That's just gonna be like insane to me.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully the boys can make some noise too, because like you said, they earned it, man. Like they've fought hard, especially without Davies. Like I didn't know, like a lot of people thought they were gonna like fall, you know, and like not be first anymore. But it's like they like literally have clinched already.
We moved up 46 spots in the World Cup world rankings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like a most of the teams ever done. And obviously like the lower the teams get, it gets easier to move up.
Move up for sure.
But like 46 spots is still like unheard of.
It is absolutely that's just huge for the boys. Like that's no, to even see them like on a legitimate ranking, not like 200 is like not on its own.
I
like,
think
that's enough.
They've cracked like I think they're around like 60 or something like that. Like no, the boys are like this. I'm so excited, and this is just like uniting a country in a way like almost similar to like the Raptors like run, right?
And I feel like we'll be such an underdog. Like a lot of teams will just like cheer for us, right? Like a lot of other countries are gonna like love that Canada's in it because like they haven't seen them in forever, right? Yeah. So it'll just be like a good story. I feel like all in all, you know, it's cool for sure.
And I hope, cause Alphonso Davies, I just hope like I know he's going through like a really tough spot right now. I'm pretty sure he has like some sort of heart condition.
Yeah, like he had COVID.
So I'm really hoping like all works out, because it would just like I can't imagine like what he's going through. Obviously he's like happier more than anyone, but like watching, be on the sideline and being like, yo, my team's in the World Cup and I'm not allowed to play. Like that would
be tough.
I'd be like, it would be a disaster. So I really hope that he can get on the field and play, even if it's like limited minutes. Because just to think about, like, we did this shit without our best player. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we were missing like our fourth best player.
Yeah.
Like, we were missing like he was the best.
Plays all game. Literally,
Like, after a year in the Bundesliga, he was ranked the best player at his position in the entire world.
Yeah,
like,
and they play him like left wing too, and he's just
Yeah.
a beast on left wing when he's playing for Team Canada.
Yeah.
He gets back and he like
It's crazy.
creates breakaways. Like, yeah, no, it's. I think he should be back. Thankfully, they have a while. I think Qatar's not to like November, but.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you got to be careful with things like heart conditions and stuff like that. It's not anything that you can just like rush back. You got to really like ease in, and I'm sure Bayern is really on top of that one and making sure he's
It's their
not
future.
rushing back. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's I just had to talk about that because it was like
Gotta get the soccer in there.
Oh,
right?
100%. Well, it's
Yeah,
just
for
such a
sure.
talking point right
Yeah,
now,
no,
right?
absolutely.
It's like, when have we ever seen this? It's been
Yeah.
36 years. But yeah, let's talk about some hockey right
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
Let's talk about the biggest one here, the Dadonov trade. So, first of all, before we talk about that, what were your thoughts on the overall trade deadline? I talked about it with last episode with Corey and Hayden, but I want to get your quick inputs on it. Like, what were your thoughts? Any winners, losers? Like, what was the biggest one that you thought?
Yeah, like tough to say. Like, well, I mean, biggest one was Brennan Hagel. Literally 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Like, what? And it's like, I don't know. Like, trade deadline's always just like. I'm almost happy the Canucks didn't move Miller because like the values are just like, yeah, like you would think they're gonna be high, but like Brandon Hagel, just because he had a contract that was beyond this year, or like, you know, like he was signed for like 1 more year or whatever, got like 2 first-round picks when it was like Claude Giroux got like what, Owen Tippett and like a second or something like that. You know, like it's just like it's the trade deadline's always so crazy, and it's hard when people are like, oh, we should have sold Mott, you know, get mad. We should have sold Mott for a second and stuff. And it's like value is not always just like a stagnant thing and like easy to tell. You know, it's so like variable. Like Claude Giroux only wanted to go to Florida, so like that's all they could give up for him, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, I'm always generally I'm always disappointed with trade deadline, kind of like because there's so much hype before. But I mean, it was interesting. There were some decent moves, like even like it probably would be Florida would be my winner of that for like Ben Sherrod as well. Analytically, not the strongest guy, but to the eye test, a lot of people like him, and so I would say Florida if I had to pick a winner, though.
Yeah, because the thing is like, you bring up the Brandon Hagel thing, and it's like if you get 2 first, I think Miller could have got like more than that. Because like he's like a 75-point player with an extra year at a good cap hit, and he's like a good playoff player, but it's like it's tricky for sure. And like I think Canucks had a good deadline for what they did. I think every move that they made was good. The Tyler Mott one, yeah, obviously I wanted more than a fourth, but we had 0 leverage.
I'm sure Patrick Alvin wanted more than a fourth.
Like Mott wanted more money than we were willing to give him. He's a UFA at the end of the year. He is a 4th liner. It's like
you can't just go back to the.
We had no leverage.
Yeah, you can't go back to the Jay Beagle, Antoine Roussel.
Yeah.
Overpaying for 4th liners character,
No.
right? That was their MO before. As much as it sucked, like Mott was honestly one of my favorite players on the Canucks.
Yeah,
but,
same here, man.
Yeah, it's just tough. You got to make smart decisions like that. Like, and even if it's, you know, in the immediate, it's gonna hurt you. Down the line, that free cap space is gonna be like, it's what you need to contend for cups. You need cap space to make the right moves, right?
Like, as much as I love Garland, if I could go back, I would take back that trade.
I know, yeah, me too. And even like OEL, I like him, and he's played better than, you know, expected this year.
Not 7.5.
No,
though.
he hasn't. No, he hasn't been. And so yeah, it's just, and that's why they're like, oh, you know, like you got to keep JT, but it's like you can't when you have Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Tyler Myers making like $14 million combined.
That's insane.
Like, you know, like
I'm really hoping we can do something with Myers.
I mean, he's
the
played well.
offseason.
Like, honestly, I do think, like, and even Drance has said it, like, he thinks, you know, in the right situation, Myers is movable. He's not immovable at this point, right? He's played well this year. If he had to continue, like, another bad year, last year he was really rough, then, you know, maybe not. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm really hopeful we can get rid of Myers, too, because that $6 million would be huge.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what we can do this off season. But
It's gonna be interesting, that's for sure.
the Dadonov trade. So
Yeah.
cheers, BCIT. Thank you for that. Dadonov trade. So this was a very interesting situation. So Vegas traded him to Anaheim for John Moore, Ryan Kessler's LTIR contract, and a few more pieces. But when he was traded from Ottawa, he had a 10-team no trade list, and Anaheim was on that list. But the way paperwork was filed, it wasn't filed from like team to team. It was like filed to the league, but like Vegas didn't know. So it was a very weird situation, and the NHL voided the trade. That trade would have cleared up around just over $3 million in cap space for Vegas. And now they only have $450,000 in LTIR salary pool, and they need to clear $4.8 million to activate Alec Martinez, and they have to clear $9 million to activate Stone.
Yeah, I don't know. Vegas is definitely put themselves into some cap purgatory a bit.
Yeah.
Especially when they have to like make deals like this, like to sign Pietrangelo, they had to trade Schmidt. Like they're making just like very like not reactionary, but there's not like thought behind these trades. I feel like they're very like spur of the moment almost, chasing that like big shiny toy. And it kind of brings them into situations like this where maybe they just didn't see, like, obviously this is a very like peculiar case and this isn't a common thing. We don't hear about this in the NHL often, but still it shows like, maybe they, instead of focusing on like how like all these different players they're bringing in and stuff like that, like Vegas kind of signed all these guys and they had a misfit organization, and it's changed now, right? It's just kind of just turned into a bunch of overpaid guys from a bunch of other teams. Eichel, Pietrangelo, Stone is not really overpaid, but still, he wasn't there from the beginning, right? And that was kind of their MO. So I just feel like Vegas is, I guess, long story short, they're in shambles right now. That's really what I'm getting at.
And this wouldn't be a huge problem if they were in like Calgary's position. Like if they were in like first place in the Pacific, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But they're not in a playoff spot right now.
No, they're not.
For a team who was projected to win the division by a mile.
Possibly even the conference.
Yeah. And like people were still taking him like over Colorado in a Vegas Colorado series. And like they're not even like they're tickling a wild card spot right now, and they're one of their best defensemen is hurt, and like Stone's out. So it's like they have to wait until playoffs to activate them because they can't do any roster moves right now. They can't.
They put Riley Smith on LTIR the other day, but I mean, Pacioretty suffered a setback too.
Yeah, like like on paper, they look really good, but it's like they've managed it poorly, and I think doing this is what's created their disloyalty to players, is because it's like they're putting themselves in positions where it's like no player is going to want to come back to you guys because you guys fucked them over by like signing them to these contracts, and they're like
trading them
oh, we need cap space.
Yeah, we need to trade you. And it's like, well, you signed to this contract. You knew like how much the cap was and everything like that. So that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like Dadonov's been like kind of on a tear ever since like
since he got rejected.
He scored a goal in like two games in a row prior to the deadline. The trade was voided. That first game he scored, and then the game after he scores again. So he's like on an absolute tear right now.
He's probably just trying to prove him wrong.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you tried to
trade him.
Trade me. It's like, okay, get rid of me. Try making the playoffs now, you idiots. Yeah, but it's crazy. But another thing that was crazy, Penn's put 11 on the Wings.
That's an interesting one, especially a couple days after Canucks couldn't even manage one on the the Wings. Yeah, jeez, 11. We've been seeing a lot of high-scoring games this year, and I would tune in and be like, oh, are we going to see the double digits? And got even an extra one on top of
Yeah.
that one. It's crazy, man. NHL scoring is it's wild right now.
What do you think the Pens' ceiling are this year? Like, do you think they can go on a run? They acquired Raquel, and like Gensel's obviously like one of the prominent goal scorers. Crosby's playing like he's 25 right now.
Gensel's sick. People don't give Gensel the credit he deserves.
I think he's one of the more underrated players
Yeah.
in the league.
I mean, man, the only thing about them is their decor, but their decor always just comes out of nowhere.
The Tang's
It's
playing
just,
well.
Yeah, it's just the Tang, and like they just have a random guy like Chad Ruedel and stuff like.
John Marino.
Yeah, Marino's a little more known, and same with Marcus Pettersson. Those are both guys I like, and kind of wish the Canucks would target, honestly, Marino or Pettersson.
There's talks about Besser for Marino.
Yeah, and then apparently Burke kind of shut it down in like an interview with like Friedman or something like that. I mean, a player from them that I definitely like is Kapanen.
Yeah.
I do like Pittsburgh. I like how they play like a very like north-south game, and they're like direct, and like Crosby is like they all just like they're beasts. Like Malkin too. The guy's huge. That's what people don't realize. It's like are they super skilled? Yeah, but they're huge.
Yeah.
Like Crosby like fights guys, right?
Insane.
Like literally.
It's insane.
Yeah, so it's I definitely think the Pens could, like, they're a dark horse contender in my eyes if Jari can keep it together. That's the one thing, because in the playoffs lately he's not been doing too hot.
Yeah,
that would be my thing. I wouldn't call them a contender. I'd say a dark horse contender if Jari can play as
because Jari's a dark horse because they don't really have anyone to fall back on.
Yeah, DeSmith is just like, nah, you can't put DeSmith in a 7-game series against Tampa Bay or anything like that, right?
Like, if they traded for Fleury, then I'd trust him a bit more.
Yeah, that was, I don't know why they ever got rid of Fleury, like a franchise icon, and for Matt Murray, who just like fizzled out the next year.
Yeah,
crazy.
He was like gone within like a year or two.
Yeah, it's actually crazy to me. Like, I couldn't imagine if the Canucks did like that, right? Like, I guess they did something similar with Longo and Schneider, but at least, like, he was drafted first overall, Marc-Andre.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, Pens are the real deal. Yeah. I want to talk about the Oilers because they've been... I can't figure them out, man. Like, first of all, they lost 9-5. Like,
yeah.
Draisaitl, I heard that he had the worst plus-minus in a game for someone who scored a hat-trick. He scored a hat-trick, but was -4.
Jesus. Yeah, that's kind of the Oilers, though, man. They can't keep pucks out of their net. Their defense is not good enough, and their goaltending isn't good enough. Ken Holland had a chance to fix it at the deadline. He just chose not to.
When I saw a report where I think it was like Puck Empire on Instagram, and like I like what they post because I honestly think like what they post like comes to fruition, like it's like legit. And when I saw them like post, like sources say like Oilers are gonna like
keeping
not,
Smith and Koskinen,
like not even doing that, like they're not gonna do much, and I'm like, why? They have no defense, and their goaltending is the worst tandem in the league. I would take Arizona's tandem over fucking Edmonton.
Literally.
Yeah, like
Wedgwood was good. They traded him, literally.
And good on Arizona. Like they should have. Like any sort of peaking player they have. I'm surprised they didn't trade Kessel. Like I think they could have got like a decent amount of picks.
Does he even no move clause still?
I'm not too sure.
I think he might.
But
and
like,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he does not want to move because he loves it there.
Yeah.
Nobody notices who he is. He looks like a garbage truck worker.
Yeah,
like,
he literally does.
You know?
And like, Nevada. I think Arizona's tax free, isn't it? Or is that Nevada?
No,
I'm thinking
I think it's Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like Arizona, like you can literally go play and then you can play.
Come on.
You play golf after.
Yeah.
But, anyways, Arizona was smart by trading Wedgwood because it's like
You're not going anywhere.
We need picks, whatever. And Wedgwood's probably like, okay, if I'm like a UFA, maybe I'll just like go back or whatever.
Yeah, he
but
probably wants a chance to win, right?
Yeah.
Dallas is a decent team.
Exactly. So Edmonton, like, there's so many, like, me, Corey, and Hayden last episode were talking, or episode 89. You don't need an A-list goalie. You have 2 D goalies. You literally just need a B goalie to give yourself. You can't be letting in 5 goals a game.
Yeah.
You need a goalie that can at least stop,
almost.
like, yeah. No, 9 is like, what are you doing?
No,
But, like,
I agree.
But like on average, we're letting in like around 5 goals a game. It's like you can't have that.
What about the playoffs, right?
Exactly.
In the playoffs, you're lucky to score 2 goals.
Yeah, you literally just need a goalie that's like gonna keep your head above water. You have two of the best players in the freaking world. That like, yo,
they're getting wasted.
When Draisaitl, you can't be losing 9-5 when Draisaitl's putting up a hattie. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, Darnell Nurse makes more than Leon Draisaitl. That should say enough.
It's crazy
about the Oilers. You know, like they're ridiculous.
And there's like a goalie I'm gonna bring up later that obviously I thought that Edmonton should have made a play for, but like it was Korpisalo. He got a hip injury, so he's gonna be out for the rest of the year. So obviously that didn't play into it.
Yeah.
And that probably changed a lot of teams' perspectives who needed a goalie. Because like Korpisalo, I think would be perfect. He's been a starter. He's played at a high level before. Yeah. He's not gonna cost a lot. He's gonna cost what, maybe like a 4th round pick.
I mean,
fifth round pick.
What about in the summer? Alex Nedeljkovic, 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And
I was ripping it up in Detroit. Like,
Ken Holland, man.
Yeah, it's like, even like, you know what? Halak. He's been playing better now.
He had a couple sketchy games that everyone just thought he was a terrible goalie for. But like beyond that, if those didn't happen when there were massive Canucks breakdowns, he's better than them.
My thing with Halak is like he's a goalie who plays well the more starts he gets.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing every 7th game, you're gonna be shit because all you've been seeing is practice ice, right?
Like game situations,
and like he's played, twice in like a matter of games. Like he played against Colorado, and then he's starting again. Like
now they finally did that last night.
Yeah, he played against St. Louis. I didn't watch a ton of that, but like, I mean, Halak plays more when like he's either like in Boston, he was playing
half the games. Almost.
He was playing quite a bit behind Rask, and he was classified as one of the best backups in the league, if not the fringe starter.
For a long
Which
time.
is why a lot of Canucks media love the signing of Halak, is because he played so well. But when he's not getting enough starts, obviously he's gonna be shit. Yeah. So like even if Edmonton traded for him, it's like okay, he's probably better than Mike Smith. Like Mike Smith is injured every like 2 seconds.
Koskinen makes some good saves though, but he just like
he wears number 19, bro.
He's Marcus Naslund.
Yeah.
No, but he makes nice saves. But if you ever notice, he doesn't know how to play the puck. I don't know why he continually does it. He gives it away so often. They score on an empty net.
He's the most inconsistent goalie in the league. Like he'll have games where it's like he'll go on a 3-game. He'll go like Koskinen will go
top 2
on,
are Mike Smith and literally.
It's. Edmonton they had one job at the deadline, was to figure out goals. They were
Before then, man, how do you come into this year with those 2 goalies?
Yeah, they were the number 1 like destination for like Fleury. Like there's so many things where it's like, yo, Edmonton's probably gonna get him. Yo, you're in an era with McDavid and Draisaitl. Give up your 1st round pick, bro. Give up, like, you need goaltending. Like it was probably gonna do what Minnesota did, conditional 2nd. And, like, because I don't think Minnesota's getting to the Eastern Conference Final. They could. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but the chances of it happening are low.
The thing is now they're just a tough team, Minnesota.
Yeah, no, they 100% are. But, like, that's what it took to get Fleury.
Yeah.
And I think Edmonton, if you keep trying to save your 1st-round picks, you're automatically admitting defeat. And, like, when you got McDavid, he's going to be like, yo, get me the fuck out of here. Not doing anything.
Pick to him? It's like 5 years down the line that anything's going to materialize out of that.
Yeah.
Literally, 5 years probably. 4 to 5.
It's like,
if you're lucky, 3.
You have the best player on the planet, like considered an alien amongst all sports. Like the fact that he can do what he does at the speed that he does it is crazy.
Yeah.
And you're just like and one of the best goal scorers in Draisaitl. Nurse is coming along.
That's what he's probably done. He's just punted on the year. I like Nurse, but he's just his contract, like Ken Holland. He signed him a year in advance for an overpayment. It's like
Nurse.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not 9. He makes more than Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Like.
Or even compare him to like defensemen. He makes more than Cale Makar.
Yeah. Literally, and who's better?
It's crazy.
I think I'd take Cale Makar over Leon Draisaitl.
He makes more or like the same as Adam Fox, which like no. But that's a D market, man. It's crazy.
Ken Holland masterclass.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Edmonton, as much as they were in shambles, like, bro, you had to figure out your goaltending.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But one thing that they did do, I don't know if you saw the video of the Oilers honoring 5-year-old Ben Stelter.
I saw a really quick video. I didn't get to see the whole thing, though.
The dressing room scene, did you see that?
No, I don't think so.
So Ben Stelter is 5-year-old who's battling glioblastoma. It's a severe cancer in the brain or spinal cord. And they brought him for the anthem. He skated with the team. And really cool scene of McDavid, like, talking to him, like, patting his back, bringing him to the blue line, guiding him where to go. One of the cutest kids you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Guy's unbelievable. And so really cool scene there for the anthem. And then after the game, I forget what game it was. I can't pin, but they won. And he comes into the dressing room at the end of the game. And
I think I saw this.
they do, like, every team does this. They do, like, Canucks do the belt.
Yeah.
Some team, Calgary does the helmet, right, for, like, player of the game,
player
whatever.
Of the game, hardest worker of the game.
Yeah, hardest worker, player of the game, whatever. And they brought him in, and they do the thing, and they give the vest and the helmet or whatever, because they have two. I'm not too sure what one of them is, but I'm assuming it's, like, player of the game and, like, something else. But they give him both the Ben, and he's just, like, the happiest kid ever. And it was just a really cool scene from Edmonton. Yeah. So despite their, like, goaltending, like, nightmares, that was a really cool scene that Edmonton did, which is something you always like to see.
Yeah, for sure.
But Nicholas Backstrom got his 1,000th point. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw just like GIF on online and throwing the plastic apples.
Yo, give that ice crew a raise, bro. I have to clean that shit up.
I know. Oh my god, they do it in like minutes too. I don't know how they do it.
Yo, they were probably like the ice crew was probably thinking like, yo, please get it on an away game, yo, please.
Yeah, literally, it's like a ball pit on the ice. Literally, yeah.
I don't know how long it took to clean that up, but like
definitely a few minutes, that's for sure.
Yeah, because it's like and they just kept commenting. They just kept commenting.
Yeah, that's the thing about hats and stuff. They can at least like float a bit, and like some of them will like go short. Those are just
not a
going.
pest to clean up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you try to pick up a ball and it'll roll around.
Yeah, use like a shovel. And
you
shovel them around.
Scatter everywhere.
Yeah, literally.
And if like you accidentally forget one, and player like skates on it, breaks an ankle, and next thing you know, it's like
yeah, no, that would be a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's for sure.
I know, but. Yeah, shout out to Backstrom because I think he is one of the more underrated players of our generation.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. He's an unreal playmaker.
The shit that he's done for half of Ovechkin's goals are like to Backstrom.
Literally from him. Yeah, no, literally half. It's ridiculous. Like it's crazy.
From the corner.
From
the corner over to Ovi's office one time or goal. Patented play. In Washington Capitol in NHL history is Backstrom from the corner, cross ice. Power play. Ovechkin stands in the same spot for 40 seconds as the puck's there. Backstrom has it. Okay, I'll just lift up my stick. Goal.
Everyone's like, why are you just on him? It's like everyone knows he's there.
Yeah, my dad says he's been in the league for like what 15 years, 16 years. I think he came in 05 or something like that. So like 16, 17 years. He's been doing that shit since day one. No one can defend it.
Still, to this day, nobody can stop him.
Someone will be on him.
No goalie can stop it. Nobody can.
Some guy will be like glued to Ovechkin. Yeah. He steps 1 foot to the left, puck's on a stick, goal.
Gets it literally.
No matter what. You try and condense the box, connect the box that you do on the PK, right? As soon as the puck gets out, puck's over Carlson. Backstrom back to Carlson, slides it over quickly. It's already in the net.
That's another one. Carlson, I feel like, was a really underrated defenseman for a long time.
Yeah.
He's good. Like, I really like Carlson.
That 1 year, there's like, he was on a tear with points. He had like 75 points.
Yeah, he was like over a point per game almost. For a while, he was over a point per game.
Yeah. And
I haven't seen that since the Mike Green days in Washington.
So, it's, Backstrom, it's like, such an elite passer. It's talk about
his vision is just like on like none other literally in the NHL.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Petey, talk about a little Canucks that's not draft or trade deadline related, but he was the first player in the 2017 draft to reach 200 points. he's been on a tear lately. He's been playing a lot more confident.
Yeah. Yeah, and his two-way game, I really noticed, especially against like the Avalanche and stuff. He's just been making so many more plays where he's like, he's not a physical guy, but he can use his anticipation, right? Like, he's such a cerebral player that like knows what's gonna happen and knows what he's gonna do, that he can use those skills against other good players, right? Because he knows what they're gonna do. Even if they're faking one way, he knows they're looking for that other pass, anything like that. And like, having him on the PK, him and Quinn, like. Just like
I think that's one of the better moves Bruce has done. Like Quinn,
literally.
Hughes and Pettersson both went up to Bruce and they were like, Greener, like we want to be on the PK.
Yeah,
like
100%.
we feel we can help.
Yeah, and it's been huge for them. And I feel like it gets PD like engaged in games when he like may not necessarily be as engaged.
Yeah, Pettersson's like noticed that we take so many goddamn penalties. He's like, yo, I'm gonna be. That's the reason why I'm playing so bad. Is because I'm never on the PK because we always get so many penalties. My ice time's cut in half. So at least when he's on, and like Canucks have like, they've gotten like fair share of like shorthanded chances, and like I think a lot of that has to do with like Hughes has improved so much this year in his defensive game. Like defensively, like his body positioning, I think is one of the more underrated parts of his game. Everyone talks about his skating, but it's like his body positioning, like
it has to be
crazy.
He's so small.
Yeah, because he can't use his side. Like protects the puck so well. Like Pettersson, one of my takes. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think Pettersson's gonna win a Selke in his career.
I could see it, honestly. Like, I really could. He is unreal, man.
Because his defensive game has been a strength that I've noticed ever since he's come in.
When he's trying, like, that's it. Like, just like, because, kind of earlier in the year, it just looked like he wasn't trying. And, like, as long as he can have a defensive impact, even if he's not scoring every single game, like, man, that would be so key for our team. Like,
did you see that shot against Dallas?
Yeah, he like winded up on the left side and came down, like
pulled it in.
Yeah, to get it in between Pavel, his legs were like this, like,
crazy.
Literally, like he honestly hit it like through his legs. Like it's crazy how pinpoint his shot is sometimes. Even his first one was it was really unlucky. He like whiffed on it, went right through right through the legs, which was kind of funny. But yeah, man, his like that second one, like. Just his timing
Vintage
and how
PD.
and how he like lines it up and literally sets it up so Joe Pavelski is like the perfect screen for him. Like literally the perfect screen.
So
what do you think though? How have you kind of been seeing, like, do you see his like, do you think he's more like attentive lately in like the defensive zone and everything?
Because before I thought he was playing scared and he wasn't committing to as many plays, but now it's like he's getting into the play more. He's not just like relying on his playmaking. He's hitting. He's grinding the corners.
Yeah, going in the corners. He's not afraid to initiate contact even, right? Before I found he was just, and it probably was his wrist, Like I feel bad for him.
That's why I think he was playing scared. He was afraid to like re-aggravate anything.
Literally, because it happened. Yeah.
So he's turned into a much more like multi-dimensional player, which is what I'm like. I'd give up points to see a more all-around player, which is why. When I had Emil on, we went over our Canuck untouchables, and Podkolzin was one of my untouchables. Because I'm like, he's not the flashiest player, but like he's
exactly
strong.
What we need too.
Yeah, he's strong as an ox, and he's a chippy player.
Yeah.
And so like Pettersson becoming more of a multi-dimensional player, I think is really important for his growth and the team's core growth. Because he's playing like a more true centerman now, and he's that playmaking that'll never leave him.
Yeah, for sure. And that was his thing before coming to the NHL, was his playmaking. Nobody thought of him as some like 1T specialist from the circle. He added that to his game. Yeah, that's the thing about PD is why his ceiling is so high. Some people are like, oh, he's not going to be anything like. But it's like, man, the guy has like added all these things, like skating too. He never was a good skater. Coming in the AHL, everyone was like, he's a weak skater. Yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, he's not the fastest. He's not a Connor McDavid out there. He's not a weak skater at all. When he wants to turn it on and burn guys, he can burn some defensemen, right? Yeah, it's just he's he's a special player. I think Petey's gonna go down as like, honestly, if we can give him the right supporting cast, I don't see why he can't get more points than like this, like one of the Sedins. Yeah. NHL scoring's up now. Sedins took so long. Like that's a thing people don't realize. Like everyone loves to forget how long it took the Sedins to get to like, even like point per game, Like,
Yeah.
it took literally, like, almost 10 years into their career, I think, to get to point per game. It's like, Petey did it his first year as a rookie.
Yeah.
And his defensive game, it was even, like, he got Hart Trophy nominations in the second year, right? Because he was just, like, so valuable defensively and offensively. Just hope he can get back to that, but we got to just support him, like, put the right support around him. Because, like, I mean, truthfully, I don't know. Like, I don't know if JT Miller, for example, is, like, the best influence on him. Like, Bruce Boudreau even, like, talked about it before, like, how PD and other guys were, like, scared. Because, like, I mean, Miller, when he gets pissed off, like, in the heat of a game, you don't know, is he pissed at himself? Is he pissed at me, at the team? You're not going to go up to him like, hey, are you pissed off at me, JT, when he's, like, freaking out? So he said, like, Bruce even said, like, it was, like, him being on a line with Pogs and Hogg he said it was, like, not, he had, like, weight off his shoulders, and he, like, there was no pressure.
Doesn't have Chase on as his winger.
Yeah, I mean, even, like, but playing with a guy like JT or Bo and stuff, like, there is a lot of, like, pressure on him, and he feels that, he's still young. Same with Quinn. Like, these guys are young. Like, they're early 20s, man. Like, Barkov and, Huberdeau and stuff, they weren't ripping it up in their early 20s. Now they're, like, late 20s.
Yeah.
It takes a certain, like, special kind of player to, like, be like Patrick Kane and Taves and stuff. Like, they were obviously in, like, the perfect situation. It all came together,
Yeah, that's one thing I've really noticed lately in all of sports. If you're not good within your first 2 years, people are going to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah,
and I'm like...
call you a bust and everything
and I'm
like
bro, what the fuck?
I have, like, a 10-year career. I'm sorry, my first 2 years are not the best.
Like, I always say, like, in the NFL, like, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson ruined it for rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not good your first year, people are going to be like, hey, you're a fucking...
Yeah.
You're a bust.
Right?
It's like...
They just label you a bust no matter what.
This kid's 22.
Yeah.
Brady's 40. Obviously, quarterback is a longevity position.
Yeah.
People are still calling Russell Wilson elite at 32. And, like, you're calling this kid a bust at 22?
Yeah,
people were calling Justin Herbert a bust before he even got drafted. Like, when he
in
got drafted,
college.
before he even, like, played an NFL game. And now people are putting him top 5 in the league. Like, Pettersson, like, obviously, there's players that I like more than others. Like, if I was willing to trade Besser, because there's some aspects of a player that I value more than other aspects. Like, I really think creating separation, like skating, I think is really important. Besser's skating isn't the strongest.
Yeah.
But, like, Pettersson, it's like people are like, trade him. It's like, what more are you going to get? Like, you're probably going to get someone...
You're doing worse.
Like, at the same level, who has a worse trajectory
exactly.
than him.
Yeah. They'll be playing the same.
Yeah.
But they won't have as high of a ceiling. If Petey gets back to a ceiling, top 10 player in the NHL, and you got your games like, okay, maybe, like, top 20, top 30 their position in the NHL.
Yeah. It's...
Like, who are you going to trade him for? Like, Thomas Hertl? I guess Thomas Hertl's a little better, too good of an example. But, like, just, like, someone who's not even, like, I don't know, like, who do you want? Like, Nico Hischier? It's like, that's not a good example because he's captain, but it's like you're not gaining, you're just losing. At best, it's, like, even. At best, you're breaking even on that.
Like, if you're going to trade Pettersson, you're going to maybe get a slightly better player who's on the decline.
Yeah.
Right now. But Pettersson's still, like, 23,
and he's like
22.
He's not like he's came out of junior Eric Lindros, like, a man where he's like, this is him. It's like the guy's still developing, clearly. He's not going to be developed for another, like, 2 or 3 years, probably.
And like you said, like, Jonathan Huberdeau, he's, like, what, like, just, like, getting into his prime now, and he's, like, 26?
11 years ago. He was drafted in, like, 2011.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Like...
Even Barkov, he's, like, 2013.
It's like, some players progress differently, and it's like... Pettersson has so much room to grow, and it's like this is why, like, Canucks Twitter, like, is so toxic. It's like there's a reason why some players don't want to come play here is because the Twitter's like, we'll love you for the first 15 games.
But after that, you're dead to us.
But if you don't score in 3 games, we're sending you down to the A or trading you. It's like, okay, relax. Pettersson has a good rookie year, gets hurt. Whatever, injury problems, people are like, trade him. It's like, okay,
demote him to the AHL.
He's fucking 22 years old.
Yeah.
Wait till he's 28 and he's fucking leading the league in points.
Literally,
and he's on a different team because you're complaining about his age 22 season. Like, some like fans just like are so impatient nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the one thing that's like my biggest pet peeve in sports is like giving up on young players too early.
Especially someone like that we've never seen anyone do anything like him and
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes too. Like you see people, they're like, we'll never win a Stanley Cup with Quinn Hughes. He's too small. He's not a real number one defenseman. It's like, bro, we've never seen anyone do remotely close to what Quinn Hughes is ever is like does every game. And you guys are like trying to say to trade this guy.
Yeah.
It's like these are the guys you build around.
Yeah.
Okay, he doesn't kill penalties. Find a guy that kills
Yeah.
penalties. You don't
Find someone
need,
making 750K.
Literally, you don't need your $7 million defenseman to be blocking shots with his face and getting hurt. No, you want him scoring points on the power play. Same with Petey. Like, don't get me wrong. If they can play PK and contribute and do well, I'm all for it. But you don't. That doesn't need to be the main part of their game. There's other guys on the team that can step up in those aspects, just like Petey, Quinn, Bo, JT. They step up in scoring when the other guys aren't, right?
Yeah.
So the other guys have to make up when they like. I mean, it's the thing is, you want a team that's full of all those two-way players too, right? It's tough to just like have designated, bottom six players, bottom six or bottom two defensemen, but having, I'll say this: if I can get guys that have not even the skill, just the work rate of Pettersson, every player on our team, I think will have a great team, and that could win like a Stanley Cup. Like him and Quinn Hughes are honestly. And even Demko, like some of the hardest workers I've seen. Like, look at JT. The guy gives up on a play when he gets like down in overtime. Yet all these fans like give this guy $10 million. It's like, man, look at Petey like diving out to like block a pass with his stick. When it's like JT, the guy gets hooked slightly and he like gets all pissed off. It's like, dude, every time you play, you like hook someone or slash someone. Like, who are you to get pissed off?
Yeah.
So it's just like people see what they want to see at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. It's super frustrating.
Yeah.
And no, but I think Petey's just playing so much better, and I'm excited that like he's just like playing with more confidence.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be a Canucks fan again, right? Like honestly, like I'm a huge Canucks fan. Watch every game, and like at the end of the Travis Green era, I was just like. I didn't even enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't like watching Canucks.
I was dreading watching games.
Like literally now even if they lose tomorrow and like or like whatever and they're eliminated from the playoff race, like, I'll still watch the games.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was a death march since then, there was no way. Like I would have stopped watching months ago.
Yeah.
Literally.
Do you think we make playoffs?
No, I want us to, but I mean, it's just like right now at the time of this 11-3, we need to go. I'm pretty sure, or at worst 10-4. It's just too tough with the teams that we have, and like maybe if we hadn't been pushing this hard for this long, but you can just tell the guys are tired, right? Like you can only go like 110% for so long.
Yeah,
because like they've been like. Look at what they did against like Minnesota and Colorado, right? Like that was their max. Like it couldn't get better than that. And like you see Colorado and stuff, and they're cruising, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't. It's impossible to just have. Everyone's like, oh, we got to play a full 82 games this year and stuff. It's like it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like it's literally impossible. You're gonna have every 3 or 4 games, or some, and maybe sometimes it'll be 1 loss, 2 or 3 losses. Like even if it's bad luck. But they just can't afford it now, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If they go 8-0, yeah, they can make playoffs, and I hope they do. Bruce Boudreau, like when they first came in, they went 8-0. But just like if I had to say, no.
Yeah. Which is honestly, we're probably in the worst spot you want to be in, where it's like we'll probably miss playoffs, but we'll have like 16th or like 18th.
I mean,
overall.
yeah, it's
or
just
like 14th overall, where it's like.
Oh yeah, well yeah, now it would be like.
Like if you just miss it,
like,
you're outside the
like
top
15,
16,
14,
but it's
16.
like you don't have a lottery pick.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's rough. But at the end of the day, like, man, you don't even need a first-round pick to find talent, right? Like Kucherov's picked in the second round, and Braden Point's a third round.
Hoglander was a second round.
Hoglander's a second rounder like 2 years ago, right? Aiden McDonough, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you have good scouting, like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have a better chance the higher your pick, right? Especially in the first round. But like you don't need that, right? Like especially in a draft like this, that's not like there's not a huge like fight to get first overall. It could be worse, but I mean we'll see. It definitely will be helpful to get like a good prospect to add to our pool though this year. That's for sure.
100%. I totally agree. Last point I want to bring up. Doughty could be out for the rest of the season. How much do you think this impacts LA's playoff hopes? Because if I'm not mistaken, they're second or third in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, LA is just like so sneaky good for some reason. They have these like young guys like Sean Dursey and like other random like defense. I mean, I shouldn't say they're random. They're draft picks by them, but they're just playing in like Ontario and another one, Matt Roy. Like they just have so many guys coming up. Like I don't think it's gonna affect them too much. Like
Yeah, right now they're second in the division with 81 points.
in how many games?
68 played, so they got 12 or 14 remaining.
left.
And the Oilers are 2 points back with a game in hand. The Knights are 5 points back with the same amount of games played. The Canucks are 8 points back with the same amount of games played. So really, I think they just have to worry about Edmonton.
Yeah.
Maybe Golden Knights, but Leonard's hurt, so they have Brossoit in net or whatever.
Not even, dude. A couple of games where they started Thompson back to back. Their AHL goalie.
Yeah.
Because they have so little faith.
They have Stone's hurt.
Pete DeBoer.
Yeah, Stone's hurt. Martinez is hurt.
Yeah.
We've already gone over this, but so I really think it's just Edmonton, and like that's if they get hopped, that's.
I think they have it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
talk about a team that came out of the weeds.
Nowhere, like literally, like. I mean, to be fair, they still have those really solid pillars from the old core, like Kopitar and Doughty, and even
playing
Brown.
Outstanding this year too.
Literally. And even Brown, just having those guys around that have won 2 Stanley Cups, like it's big, right? Like, I mean, yeah, it's been surprising though. I really did not think LA would even be a playoff team. I thought they were gonna be bottom of the like Pacific.
Seriously. I want to ask this question, and then I want to do like this logo draft.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a picture of some. I already went over my rankings, but I want to, and then I'll give you a picture of all the logos, and then we can kind of go back and forth. But, recently, Colorado played Minnesota, and McKinnon got in a fight with Dumba, but it turns out that he got hurt, with that fight. And they're like Colorado on a scale of like low to high, like how much they were worried about it, they were pretty high. And that's not something you want, but fortunately they got a stranglehold on the division. Like they have 98 points, second place is Minnesota with 84. Like they are cruising right now. Like they're fine. And like with how deep that team is, like they're chilling.
Yeah.
So this leads me to my question. How do I want to phrase this? Who's your Stanley Cup favorite? This is gonna be a joint question. What's your Stanley Cup matchup? Who do you think's winning it? And then who's a team that you just don't believe in? That you think is like, as soon as playoff starts, it's like they're gonna do a lot worse than what their seeding tells them.
That's a good one. Honestly, I think the Rangers I don't believe in. They're just like Travis Green's Canucks with like better goaltending, even better than Demko.
Which is, by the way, like hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, he's Shesterkin. The guy's crazy.
He should be hard, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would say Rangers because I just don't see like in the playoffs, like when it really comes down to it, like a goalie can only carry you so far, right? Like he can't win you a Stanley Cup. A goalie can't win 16 games on the back of himself. When it's like the Rangers, they live off the back of Shesterkin and like an elite power play, right? Like that's what it is pretty much. They have game breakers. Kreider has like 20-something power play goals. It's like it's not a formula to win in the playoffs. So that's what my pick would be for that. I would say, I always go with the like typical favorites. I was right one year, 2 years ago. I said I think Tampa will win the cup, so they were my favorites to win, and they actually did end up winning. But They were pretty. I guess that was actually the year after they got swept by Columbus, so it was a bit of a minorly hot take. But if I had to guess a matchup, I honestly think Florida's going to make it. I think it's going to be Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, like I think with their toughness, man, like if they can get goaltending from Fleury, like I really think they're just going to beat the shit out of teams. Like even like I don't know if Colorado can handle them. Like Colorado's a decently tough team, like Mac can fight and everything, but man, Minnesota, like they have like 4 like legitimate fighters, like not like guys who are big like McKinnon who can fight. It's like legitimate like guys who can like scrap.
Yeah.
And like like Delorier is just like running around trying to take guys' head off all game, and nobody does anything to him because he's huge and he's like the best fighter in the NHL right now, or one of them at least.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I think it'll be Florida Wild, and I think Florida's gonna come out on top.
They're gonna win it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like that's the very mainstream pick, Florida but Colorado as well. That is a very mainstream one. But I think, Panthers are just, if they can get good enough goaltending from Bob, but even then, let Spencer Knight cook, you know?
Yeah.
See what he's got, honestly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I want to chime in here. I want to go, so the team that I have kind of little faith in is, one team I'm kind of worried about is Florida. I'm just like, as much as I love them, it's just like they've been really good regular season teams. Like they've haven't done it to this level, but like they've been really good regular season teams. But something seems a little bit different in them. So I'm gonna go the same answer, Rangers. I think they're gonna get, because 5-on-5 play, it's so bad, and like if your power play stinks. One injury to Fox and like you're toast.
Literally, Fox, Panarin, Kreider goes out. Anyone, they're done.
But my finals pick.
Let's hear it.
I'm going Carolina.
That's actually, I forgot about them. I didn't even think about them, man. They're built for the playoffs. Like they are built for the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, and I love everything about Carolina. And I really like the Minnesota pick, but I think Colorado has it this year. I think they're going. Like I think they got a little bit more playoff ready this year. Through the deadline.
I agree. They did make really smart moves. Like Lehkonen, that was a really smart move. He's a very good 5-on-5 player.
And
really
John Manson just like beefing up that D. He's not gonna move the needle, but he's just gonna add depth.
Yeah, he takes a lot of penalties. So if he can keep he can keep that under control. But
that's why they got Lehkonen. He's a really good PK guy.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. Yeah, take more penalties, but we got guys to kill them.
But like, I mean, Makar is playing at the level. Rantanen's playing unbelievable. McKinnon's a dog in the playoffs. Kadri's been playing like a top 10 player this year. It's like they've just like Landeskog when he's healthy. He's another tough guy who's just like doesn't take shit from anyone.
I
One of
hope
the best
they get
lines in hockey.
Landeskog and McKinnon back though, man, because I really want to watch them at full tilt. You know, like I feel like it would be such a disservice to everyone to not see both those guys with that lineup.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. But yeah, I wanted to go through that question, but I'm gonna give you my laptop here, and we're gonna do a little
do some logo,
do a logo draft.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to do this, but do you have your phone there?
Oh yeah.
Do you have Siri?
Yes, sir.
Do heads or tails, and then you pick it.
Heads or tails?
I'll go tails.
Heads or tails, Siri? It's not working.
It's not working. Okay.
Phone, sorry.
I'll flip my Golf Town card.
Okay, there you go. I have a coin here. I'll get one.
Yeah, you flip a coin. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll figure out who gets first pick.
Yeah, sounds good.
Or you can defer if you want.
You know what? Yeah, you go first. I'm curious to see. I want to see what route you go, because I feel like there's so many different routes you can go. Like, what is your favorite? Or
I already have my rankings here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a couple different routes you can go. Like, what do you think is the nicest, but what do you like the most? You know, so I'm kind of curious to hear what your reasoning is.
So, the first overall pick in the 2022 Left Side Heavy Logo Draft, Team Jevon selects Detroit Red Wings.
Wow. Okay. I
think
respect that.
Detroit's logo is classic. If they were just smart and made their jersey design a bit nicer, they'd have much better jerseys. Like, I think they have the best Winter Classic jersey of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like red with like the off-white
yeah.
almost. I think it's one of the best jerseys ever made.
Mm.
So I'm going with Detroit with my first pick.
Really, eh?
Yeah, I love
respect that.
I love Detroit's logo.
I like them a lot. Honestly, I will say I like Red Wings, but yeah, like their jerseys feel like they're almost like too stuck in the 70s.
It's literally a
80s.
white line at the bottom and then a
it's
white
even
line
more.
here, white line here. Like, add a little bit.
Yeah.
More stripes at least.
I feel like I'm going to be going off the board here.
Okay.
I didn't come up with this, too. This just came to me by looking. I'm going to say Seattle, honestly.
Seattle. Wow.
I really like their logo. I think it's cool, honestly. I like how they didn't just do like an S or anything. It's like actually like they did like the ripple effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The color too and the font and everything. Like I don't know. I just like it. Like and the way it sits on their jerseys too. Like their jerseys are nice.
Yeah.
Like I think just everything they did and like even like the little stuff like adding like the little like red eye almost to like the S, you know? Like just like things like that. Like it's like honestly, if I had to go like my other favorite too, like not what I think's the best, but like my favorite, like I really like the Pens too. Like those, like they're back to back. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle, honestly.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll do a snake draft. So you can go with your second pick. We'll go back to back here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Pens. Honestly.
Pens?
Yeah, I like the Pens a lot.
Yeah, what throws me off about them is the yellow triangle in the back. I just think it's so random and weird.
I think it almost just, I like it because it just reminds me of like the old like Yager and Lemieux days and stuff like that. You know, like that jersey's just like so symbolized by that logo. Yeah.
No, it has so much history. It's crazy, but I'm in between a couple here, but I'm gonna go with the Kachina logo, Arizona. I love the Kachina logo. It's such a sweet. It's like it's grown on me. Like at first I was like iffy on it.
It looked weird in the beginning,
but,
and I really.
But now I think just like maybe it's like the overall jersey concept is what really speaks to me.
Yeah.
But like their white Kachina jerseys.
No, it's still such a cool logo too, like with the stick and everything. That I definitely really like the Kachina too. I will say.
And with my third pick, this one is something that I hated at first. Like it was one of my least favorite ones.
Really?
It's Minnesota Wilds.
Oh, that's interesting. I like Minnesota. Actually.
What I like, it's like it almost looks like a bobcat or like a bear or something, but then it has like the wild, like the trees and like this
it's
features
like one of those that like
within.
has multiple, you know, like you would like you see a couple different things in it, not just one.
It has like a scenery within the logo. I really fuck with it, and like they're dark green. Like their forest green and cream color jerseys.
Yeah, I really
like their home jerseys are
say
so
wild across there.
So nice.
I like those for sure.
So I like Minnesota as my third pick.
Yeah. All right, I'll go for my third pick. I'm gonna go with the dual sword saber.
Oh, the dual sword saber.
That one. Like I really like that one and what they do with like the jerseys and stuff like that too. I'm gonna say that one for number 4 or number 3, and then I don't know. I feel it's so basic, but I love the Rangers.
The Rangers, I had them as my 4th.
Really, I just love the down the side. You know, I love how it's like the New York and then Rangers.
Yeah.
Like, I really like the look of it and how it's like super clean and everything like that.
But even like the jersey concept too, when it has just like the Rangers from shoulder to hip, diagonal. I love that concept.
I know, yeah, it's just
jerseys.
Basic, but I love it for sure.
Like I'm not a huge fan of like jerseys where it says like Vancouver's where it said Vancouver over.
I know. Over top.
One of the worst jerseys Canucks have ever had. It's like we know where you're from.
I hate like crescent and shit.
Yeah, we know where you're from, but we know you're from Vancouver.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you don't even remind us. Yeah.
But like just simple like
Yeah,
Rangers.
yeah,
It's
literally.
I find it so cool, and the jersey concept's unbelievable.
Yeah. What would you
But
go for your fifth?
so my fifth, I mean, based off of rankings here, I should go this team, but I'm almost having like a change of heart here. But I'm gonna go with I'm in between two. I'll go Montreal.
Oh, okay. That was another one I was thinking actually.
Yeah, I like Montreal's. I'm Habs fan at heart as well. Canucks are my favorite team, but Habs are my number two. So I like that logo. I was in between them and St. Louis.
Oh, okay. The blue note, yeah.
The blue note, I think that's a really cool one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Montreal's for my last pick here at 5.
I think for me, my next one would be Devils.
The Devils.
Yeah, I honestly like the Devils.
Yeah, for me, I had like a top 8.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch where like the middle 16 was like they were interchangeable.
Mhm.
Like 16 could interchange with 9. Like I think they were all just the same.
What did you rate? What was your last one out of curiosity?
My least favorite, Hurricanes.
Yeah, I'd say that too.
I hate that logo so much.
Yeah, it's just like not nice. Like they need to change it.
Yeah, and
There's
then
like so many different colors. Like
yeah, it's
like,
terrible.
It goes like black, white, red, black, white, red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like no.
Yeah, it literally looks like the green screen when like the meteorologist is giving the weather.
I'm curious, what did you have LA ranked?
I had him 24th, but I
Really,
put them lower.
Wow.
Do you like theirs?
Sometimes.
I like if I could change it, I would put them like 29 to 32.
Really?
I hate it.
Wow.
I wish it was the crown. If it was the
yeah,
crown,
that's true.
it would
Yeah,
be high.
okay, that's fair.
But the template, it just looks like a badge.
Yeah, it's true. It does look like a
It's like a LAPD badge.
or like a from like the olden days, like a crest.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like one of those.
Like it looks like a soccer logo more than a hockey logo.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah, that actually does not look like a hockey logo. What about the Avs? You like those?
I had him top half. I had him 12th.
That's probably my favorite. And then Blues and Canucks. Those ones are probably like mine to round up my top 10. I'd say.
Like I had like Canucks within with the Penguins and Sharks. Like I had Avalanche, Sharks, Penguins, Canucks. I had Canucks at 15, like right in the middle.
Yeah, it's a pretty average logo, I'd
Yeah.
say. I like it more so just because I like killer whales a lot, especially like living around here, you know, so I feel like it has like more of a connection to us. But that's fair. I'd say definitely around like middle of the pack for sure, not higher.
Yeah. It's I think Canucks have had better logos. Like I like the stick in the rink one and
the stick in the rink,
the
all the
skate.
variations we've done with it. Yeah, the skate's nice. Definitely more of a black skate guy. I can give this back than the yellow skate or white one. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But Tim, this was an absolute blast, man.
Yeah,
I really
for sure.
enjoyed having you back on the podcast. But let the people know where they can find you on social media or any stuff that you're working on.
Yeah, just at Timothy Asfar on Twitter and at Timothy Asfar, at Tim Asfar on Twitter and at Tim Asfar 96. I screwed that up.
Did you?
At Tim Asfar 96 on Twitter, at Tim Asfar on Instagram. Honestly, don't really have too much stuff cooking up these days. I do have a website, timasfar.com. It's not really been updated that much lately. I've been kind of putting some of my different schoolwork on it. Going to be probably uploading some bigger projects though that we have coming up, so I can try and showcase for some possible work stuff. So yeah, but beyond that, honestly, just busy. So just gonna keep up with that.
That's sweet. Yeah, I'll post all your links and stuff.
Yeah.
In the description of
the right ones, not the ones that.
Yeah.
No, I said it.
Yeah, I'll search them up and I'll post the links and everything in the podcast description and the YouTube as well. But guys, you know where to follow me on Instagram at Jevon.Lefave, on Twitter at JevonLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftsideHeavy_. If you're listening to this but you want to watch it instead, Left Side Heavy on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that sorts of jazz. And we have intro and outro music now. Royal Oak, they were just on the latest KBNR, gave me their latest single, Yearbook, as the intro, and Tell Me as the extra. So be sure to go check them out on everywhere you get your music, really. So shout out to them. And yeah, Tim, once again, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Well, you say that we're in the right place.